Hey guys, just thought I would share some tips and ideas and maybe some products that have worked well for me to decrease like smudging and smearing of like eye makeup and eyeliner underneath the eyes, because I know a lot of us tend to have that problem, especially if you have like oily lids or you're living in a pretty hot and humid climate. So just stay tuned and I hope you enjoy this. Alright, first things first is for those of you who put like concealer underneath your eyes, make sure that you're not piling on so much and make sure that you do set it, because I know in the past when I've worn concealer under my eyes, it can kind of tamper with like my eyeliner and just make the area a bit oilier and make it smear. So just kind of watch out for that. Maybe try not to go too high, too close to the lash line with the concealer. Instead, just cover up your under eye circles or where you need to. So that would be my first tip. Another tip, and I know this won't come as a surprise to most of you, but I still get questions regarding it, so I try to cover what I can, but it would be to use an eye primer. And not only on your upper lids, but also underneath your lower lash line, so that it just helps like soak up the oil and your makeup won't smudge and smear and crease as quickly. So such as Too Faced Shadow Insurance or Urban Decay Primer Potion, just to name a few, works pretty well. So that's another thing you might want to try. And another tip would be if pencils, just eyeliner pencils, just seem to smudge on you, then try something new. I know for myself personally that I've tried all different kinds of pencils, and for the most part they smudge much more quickly, not quicklier, much more quickly than my other eyeliners, such as like cream gel liners, liquid liners. So try something new. Another tip, which I've mentioned quite often in my past videos, would be to set your eyeliner with like a matching powder, eyeshadow, matching color shadow, just so you're setting it and it's soaking up any kind of oils. So you want to constantly think, I need to soak up the oils, I need to cause a barrier so that all the oil around my eyes won't break down my eyeshadow and my eye makeup. So that's what you want to constantly think. And this can go for whether you're setting pencil eyeliner, gel liner, or liquid liner. What I often use is my Sonia Kashuk angled liner brush and just any matching shadow, and I just go right over where I've just lined it with whatever eyeliner I just used, and that seems to really help decrease smudging. So now I just want to name a couple eyeliners that I actually really like and really like barely, if at all, smudge or smear on me. So one of my oldies but goodies is my Maybelline Ultra Liner, and it's a waterproof eyeliner, and it truly is waterproof. It doesn't smudge on me at all, and I've stopped using this, but I actually pulled it out today and I decided to use it underneath my lower lash line. Now before you think, okay, you're not supposed to put liquid liner underneath your lower lash line, that's crazy. What I actually decided to try to do was I took an angled brush like this with a pretty like fine tip with synthetic bristles, and I just dabbed some right onto the brush, and I just went right underneath my lower lash line and just kind of dabbed it under there as close to my lash line as possible. And then to soften up the look, I went right over it with some eyeshadow. I set it, just like I mentioned before. I set it with my, not this brush, wrong brush, my Sonia Kashuk angled liner brush. And so it doesn't look harsh at all, it just softens it and it sets it at the same time. And I noticed that it really like didn't smudge very much at all. So that seems to work really well. Another one of my favorite eyeliners recently that works really well is my MAC Fluid Line in Black Track. And this is a cream or gel liner. And you do need a brush to apply this. And it just works amazingly well. It doesn't smudge on my upper lash line. It barely smudges on my lower lash line. When I do, and if I do apply it on my waterline, it does kind of smear and kind of like wants to smear out to the side. But that's something that just can't be helped because your waterline is already kind of like moist, So these two would be my personal favorites when it comes to like very little, if any, smudging or smearing. Okay, so those are a couple of my favorite eyeliners. One last thing that I've been doing a lot to really help, decrease smudging and smearing is to use some kind of powder or eyeshadow and just patting it right underneath. Especially, let me get a compact mirror here, especially right on the outer edges here. And right underneath everything, underneath the eyeliner. Just so you're kind of just setting up more of a barrier so that the oil doesn't break down your eye makeup as quickly. So that's one last tip, and that's all I have to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope some of you find it helpful. If you try any of it out, please let me know. Let me know how it works out for you. And thanks so much for watching. You all have a great one. Bye.